one. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and kittens, geek and geekettes, dogs and puppies, marshmallows and s'mores. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for another exciting episode of Dun Dun Dun. I can't do the music. Y'all know I can't do the music, so I don't know. Dun Dun Dun. The Black Geeks podcast is back again for our weekly installment of geekiness. Thank you so much for joining us. Aren't you wonderful? Aren't you ever so smart and brilliant to just jump on and join this? I hate when I do that. There we go. I'm always monitoring our YouTube feed, and it always jumps in my ear, and I'm like, who is this talking to me in my ear? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I am joined this evening fresh off of his extraction of Darth Geekonius, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me leader of Extraction Team Alpha. That guy over there is the Potbelly Samurai. What's going on, brother?
Yo, it's good to be here. Yo, really, it was rough. It was really rough. Sith Cricket had us for a minute, but dude, all the training, all the time in the dojo, all the training in the woods, we were successful. We broke the whole team out. Geekonius is he's in critical condition, but he's all right. He's at Walter Reed. Everybody send your prayers and your well wishes. The doctor say he's gonna make it, but I'm just happy to be here, man. Almost didn't make it, but I pulled the team out.
Man, thank you so much, man. I want to thank you for your leadership of Extraction Team Alpha. As we mentioned last week on the show, most of the Black Geeks were captured by the Sith Cricket. I got out the Potbelly Samurai, and Potbelly Samurai said, he's going back in. He's going in after Geekonius. Geekonius is down. He was tortured by the Sith Cricket for 37 hours with Samsung devices. So somehow he clung to life. 37 hours of torture without an Apple product. My God, I can't even fathom.
It was horrible to see him, man. Like he was literally like he was in a corner. Like when I broke into the room that they were holding him in, and to great peril of my own, and I saw him I almost broke down, bro. Like he was in the corner. He was blithering like a raving madman. Like he just, you already know, he a chocolate brother, man. He was like melting into the scenery. He was just kind of like, he looked like Tyrone Biggums. Like it was awful to watch. But he's getting treatment now. He's at Walter Reed Hospital. If you don't know, Geekonius served our country, and he's being taken care of by the best doctors in the area right now, Walter Reed Hospital.
Man, that brother is so strong. He's been through so much, and to see him, I wasn't on the team, but I went to see him a little later. To see him just sitting there, rocking back and forth. Oh, thank you, Steve Jobs. Oh, thank you, Steve Jobs. Oh, all praise to Steve Jobs. I mean, man, I was like, I was hurting, man. I mean, at Jobs, I guess the spirit of Jobs was with him, was able to get him through this ordeal. But again, man, thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you so much for your honor and everything you did to get our brother out, man. That was, big commendation to you and your team. Excellent job extracting Geekonius from the Sith Cricket's headquarters, man. Great job.
Now that's over, get comfortable. Give me a minute, change out of my my combat gear.
Cool, no problem, man. Do your thing. I'm going to give a little, in honor of our brother who's hemmed up at Walter Reed. I'm going to do the news this evening, and then we're going to get into our roundtable for today. So I'm going to start off, as if any of you guys know the history of Motorola and I were going at it for several weeks as they kept my phone hostage, and I happened across an article the other day that Motorola, the article's title was, I think it was Motorola Continues to Disappoint. At least that's what I recorded, because I was like, oh, what are they doing now to disappoint people? So it's very interesting that they are not going to upgrade any of their phones, a number of their newer phones, when Android 6.0 Marshmallow releases.
Hold on. Marshmallow.
Yeah, Marshmallow.
They really named it Marshmallow.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you gotta, it was this lollipop, Kit Kat. Yeah, they're going with this whole sweets thing.
And you
So
wonder
yeah,
why they can't get their act together.
look,
Marshmallow.
that's a Google thing, dude. That's a Google thing. So that's what Google's been doing for a while. I mean, I was actually very surprised they were allowed to use the term Kit Kat when they did Kit Kat, and so now they rolled out lollipop. So next one is gonna be marshmallow. So it's cute, but anyway, but yeah. A number of their popular models, including the Motorola E, the Moto.
We got Phayce back. Phayce is
Phayce joined us. Oh man, Phayce. Yeah, see, we got Phayce out second.
Came from Walter Reed. Like Phayce had minor injuries. You see, he's trooping it out.
Let me tell you how it went down over here, though. I did not get caught completely slipping by the cricket, but what happened was I had someone call me with the voice impersonator and had me talking about some 911 pimp down. I need you to meet me over. I had to go over to Narnia where those dudes was, thinking something was going on. I thought it was an emergency with one of those, only to realize that was an ambush. I escaped, but I had to do it on foot. Dude slashed my tires.
Oh, not the tires.
Yeah, he got my tires. That's a BS move. So, yeah. Yo, but I'm back now.
I got Geekonius out, man. He's at Walter Reed. You gotta go see him. He's in bad shape though.
Yeah. He's 37 hours without an Apple device, man. Took a hell of a toll on him. So we're just hoping that after extensive treatment, we surrounded him with some iPads and some Airs. I think he'll make a full recovery, but the psychological damage is probably going to be significant.
I don't know. Like when I left him, like to make the show, he was touching the iPad in a very unfamiliar kind of way, talking about precious, my precious. Like,
yeah.
His mind ain't there no more, man. Like I just don't.
He's gonna make it, dude. He's a Sith. He's gonna make it.
It's the conversation I gotta have with his wife and kids.
Dude, no. Just hold on, brother. Hold on to the faith. The spirit of Jobs is with him. The spirit of Jobs is with him.
You don't understand what it's like to have that conversation.
It's okay, man. He's gonna make it. I'm gonna tell you, bro. Be strong. I'm gonna tell you, Geekonius is gonna make a full recovery. He'll be back next week. His eyes glowing red. He'll be just fine. But we gotta make sure.
You don't understand, man. You don't understand. We had to go through to get him out.
I know, bro. Look. I know. We're gonna get all you guys some treatment. I think King Phayce, he made it through okay. We'll get some counseling for you. Obviously, this is a very stressful situation, but we're going to take good care of you, man. We're here for you.
Excuse me.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Take a minute, get some water. We'll be all right. I'm going to read a couple more of these news stories. You're going to be all right, man. You're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. Anyway. So next news article, the new Chromecast. Anybody checked out the new Chromecast? It's very interesting. A really nice new design. Very inexpensive. $35 all over the place. They're going to be available on Amazon and Best Buy, Target, Walmart. They'll be available a lot of different places. I can't believe I said the W word on my podcast. Anyway, jeez. But some nice new features. They're going to be able. Well, this isn't relatively new, but you'll be able to stream Netflix, YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, HBO Now. A lot of the apps that you're typically used to. One thing that they did add was the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which is really nice. It was something that it definitely needed. Some folks don't like the fact that it doesn't have a remote, and you do have to control it from your smartphone, tablet, or PC. But for those who like to do the streaming thing, from your computer, hey, it's a really good option. Especially, it's one of the cheaper options out there compared to some of the other ones. In disturbing retro reboot news, I think that anybody who's watched us for any length of time knows that we're not a big fan of some of these reboots. Following the news that 20th Century Fox is going to reboot the A-Team, which I'm like, I'm having mixed feelings about, but I think that it's definitely doable if you look at the NCIS concept. But
go ahead, finish.
Okay. So the CBS, not to be outdone from 80s shows, is going to reboot MacGyver. And I'm like, oh, no, not MacGyver. I'm the dude that I used to watch MacGyver faithfully every night. And after probably the second season, I carried a Swiss Army knife everywhere that I went, just in case I ever got locked in a closet with a time bomb and I had a broom handle, some duct tape, and a wad of chewing gum. I was that cat.
I always carried a pack of chewing gum because you never knew when you might need to create your own muffler.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm
reboot 80 shows. Am I the only one who used to watch Airwolf? Can we get a reboot?
No, brother. No, you're not the only one who watches. Oh yeah. No, you're not the only one. Airwolf was a joint.
Airwolf tried to reboot Knight Rider, and that joint didn't go so well.
You can't do. Listen, as much as we clown Dude, and we'll probably continue to clown Dude, you cannot do Knight Rider without the Hoff. Okay, you just can't. I mean, I can't imagine Kit talking to anybody else except for the Hoff. And if you try, you will fail miserably.
And they did the Hoff had a cameo in the first episode.
He did.
And the dude you find out, is Michael Knight's son. So it's like this second generation.
You know what?
It failed. It had potential, but it failed.
You know why? And this goes back to the same thing we've been talking. I know the allure to want to do these things. As much as I hate it, I understand the allure to want to try to do some of these old shows, because when you really sit back and watch these like old stuff, in your head you're thinking to yourself, now that technology is good, we really could do this all over again. And in some ways you're thinking, you're right. I had to force choke my child to sit there and have a nostalgic moment, and we sat and watched the first two Indiana Jones movies. And it wasn't until trying to watch them that I realized how old they were. In my brain, I'm thinking, oh, they only came out 90, 95, but all three of them were out before the 1990. And I'm not counting the one with Shia LaBeouf. I don't care what y'all say. So there's only really three. Okay? So all three of them came out, like, literally. One came out in 81, 84, and 89. And watching them, it was fun to watch content-wise, but it was just like, I was watching and I thought to myself, man, if they could just modernize half of this stuff, this joint would be fire on top of fire. And so I understand the allure. I do, but I just think there are some times you can just go too far. Knight Rider was one of them. I don't really see too much more you're going to do than outside of what was just done. I mean, talking car guy with a cool jacket. You can't really add anything to that.
Cool jacket and lots of chest hair. Let's make sure we give full respect to the chest hair.
Yes, exactly. And that was kind of, whenever it was really going down for my man, he'd be like, I can't get involved, kid. What are you gonna do? And then he could pop it off.
Exactly.
So So I don't really see too much more you're going to do with that. That's just kind of garbage, kind of lame. But I can understand the allure to want to do these things. I just think you shouldn't do it. Then I think there's certain things that you could try, like, when they came out with Clash of the Titans, the new one, that was garbage. But mostly because they tried to come up with a brand new story instead of just remake it the way it was. And you have to have the same magic, the same actors and all that stuff, and it's just impossible.
Am I the only one that kind of wants another Star Trek series on TV?
No, no.
No, there's
It's
enough.
time.
There's enough of those.
Yeah, I could go for another Star Trek.
Dude, I was tweeting. I was at a secret location earlier this week, and I was watching the BB. I don't have BBC on Fios, but where I was at BBC, and I was watching. I was watching the episode of.
On Fios?
No, I just don't have it in my package because yeah, this guy's just got a. I don't have that next level package that has a whole bunch of stuff in it that I don't need, and I'm not gonna watch. So, but I was watching the episode where Geordi. They got caught in that blast in the Romulan ship, and where they were testing out the new cloaking device. And him and the other girl, I can't remember her name right now. It'll come back to me. But they were stuck, and they thought they were dead, but they were actually just. And I was sitting there watching, I'm like, dang it. And then there's one with Data and Lore where he had, he was controlling him, and I was like, man, I missed this show. I was like, oh my gosh, and I sat there and watched it like I had never watched it, knowing I knew exactly what was going to happen every moment. But yeah, I could definitely go for a well-written.
You know what's going to happen, and it's going to serve you cats right. Y'all going to get another one, and then they're just going to be like, let's get someone that looks like Scott Bakula and do something like that again.
No.
And then we're going to be sitting here for a good hour talking about, I can't believe this is the kind of crap you came up with. Oh my God, someone should get fired. But it's going to be y'all's fault for just rocking the boat. Just let it go. I could watch reruns of certain about Next Generation on. I could watch reruns. I am perfectly happy in my world watching reruns of those because those were insane. And I get it because when Next Generation first came out, wasn't nobody feeling that. How can you have someone in charge of the Enterprise who's not Captain Kirk? This is just crap. And Patrick Stewart did his thing, and then they became one of the in some circles, some guys preferred that crew over any other crew, and then Deep Space Nine, and it took me a longer time to get used to that, but at that point I was being stubborn, I acknowledge, but so on and so forth. But I just think
was the truth.
Yeah, I just think at some point, like Voyager,
it took me a while to get into Voyager.
It took me a very long while to get into Voyager. In fact, I can almost on a limb say I didn't get into Voyager. I can go back and watch it now because I'm smarter and wiser now. But even then, I wasn't digging it like that.
I wasn't feeling Voyager all that much. I mean, I watched Next Generation religiously. I watched Deep Space Nine almost religiously. Voyager started to lose me a little bit. I don't know why. It just didn't have the edginess that Next Generation had. And by the time they brought the Enterprise in, I was done. I probably watched 4 or 5 episodes of Enterprise, and with the Scott guy, and I just wasn't feeling that at all, and that's where they just lost me. I'd rather gone back and rewatch the entire Next Generation again than watch that.
Like redoing Quantum Leap wouldn't be a bad idea now.
We've said that. Didn't
they try that?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I thought I saw something about thinking that. No. Quantum Leap, I think, was ahead of its time.
It was.
I think it was ahead of its time.
It was. I mean,
but I think this. Okay.
Well, I was gonna say, especially when you think about how many times they jumped him into different ethnicities, jumped him into different sexual roles. I mean, had him.
I still remember the time when he was pregnant as a woman. That still threw me off.
Right.
I just remember that, and it's just like this dude is pregnant. It's crazy. Because you know how in the movie, in the show, you see him until he looks in the mirror and he's a female, and it's like, I still can't get over it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. From Twitter, I want to read one of our watchers, our viewers. Thank you so much. We've got a couple of viewers. Thank you so much for watching and actually joining in the show. Black Nerdity says only reboot I want to see is Pirates of the Dark Waters. But that's all nostalgia talk.
Dark Water was a really good cartoon.
Yeah. It was. That was a really, really well-written cartoon. I mean, the storyline.
Okay, I'm glad you just brought that. Does that count? Do we want to see rebooted cartoons?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, one of the more recent reboots that they did for cartoons that I thought was actually better than the original was, what's my man? Thundercats.
I knew you was about to say
that. Thundercats piece was pretty solid. It was solid.
And it only lasted 1 season, and I really want to see that joint come back because they
You know what that is? That is why I think part of that problem, and I'm just being real, is that not enough of us who have somewhat force powers force choke our children. That's their fault. They made that fail because we, the adults, was digging it. Same reason why Young Justice didn't take off. Because I remember the new Thundercats, and what the problem was, our kids didn't get too much in what was happening. They didn't have any reference points because not enough of us sit down and watch old stuff with our children. They didn't have any reference points, so when things were happening, like when they first showed Pantero, I almost fell out my chair. I was like, "Oh!" But everybody, when someone was like, "Who is that bug guy? Why are you so happy?" I was just like, "Oh my god!"
Pantero.
I'm sorry, Pantero.
I was gonna say something. I'm glad you said.
Listen, that goes back to the point.
It's okay.
Listen,
it's okay.
But
you're still feeling the effects of the Sith Cricket.
Yeah. My head is still in limbo. I'm still a little hazy because I had to walk in the rain and in the snow. Y'all know nothing about that snow. Got caught in a weather bubble. So
I got you. Speaking of, we're talking about some nostalgia, and you guys know, and just for the record, I brought out my new Optimus Prime T-shirt. Oh, it's so awesome. See how Optimus Prime up there? Yeah, y'all. So I brought it out just for this show, because honestly, I'm freaking confused. So it's been announced that more Transformers movies are coming, but not just one, not just two, not just three, but 4 more Transformer movies are possibly coming. And I'm gonna tell you, you guys know, I am a huge. I mean, I am an Autobot at heart. I really am. I used to go down the hall junior high school thinking that I could transform and just roll down the hallways. I mean, that was me. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, God, dog, what the hell is they
going? You Ultra Magnus now?
Shoot, go right ahead, no, ladies, dude. No, I'm sorry. Just kidding. I had to go. I'm just playing. I was thinking about, like, good Lord, what are they gonna cover? Because do Unicron, and we know that Optimus has gone on a search in the universe. And he's gonna be probably finding more Autobots and bringing them together. But I'm like, dang it, I can't think of what more content they're gonna do. And I'm just really afraid that they're really pushing it. I mean, they could maybe they like send the Dinobots off on an excursion and they go about, because the Dinobots had some of their own shows, and I don't know, man. I'm just really worried for this franchise.
What's gonna happen is, and I think they've passed the point of pushing it. I think they pushed it with the last one.
But they still got more stuff they could do.
The only thing that's possible.
They haven't touched on the Quintessons yet. They ain't do no Headmasters. They ain't do Motormasters.
I think there's certain things that it's not gonna matter. Like the only thing at this,
the movies all sucked, but it's still like more stuff they can do.
I mean, there's more stuff, but they haven't done it right anyway. I don't see why we think all of a sudden they're just going to do it right all of a sudden. Like the only thing that
not at all.
only thing that could possibly happen is if, in one of these joints, because I thought they was going to do it with one of the last Shia LaBeouf ones where Optimus Prime got murked, and I thought they were going to do it then, but they didn't do it. So I was like, oh, y'all suck. But I thought Optimus Prime going to have to get taken out for an entire movie, and then in the next one he's going to have to come back all bleached white Prime. I think that's the only thing that can even remotely even be something like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. But even then, that I can see how they messed that up. So just don't do it. Someone should sabotage the set.
They just need to stop the madness. I don't know where they're going with this, but hopefully they give us an idea. I mean, I don't know. I guess honestly, I'm sitting here and it really doesn't matter. Y'all know, I know you guys aren't going to go see it. I will probably still go see him in 3D. I will still go see him I will still pay $19.35, and I will still go see him in IMAX 3D.
Watch them joints like I saw all the other ones on a lazy ass Sunday afternoon on cable when there ain't nothing else to watch, and I say, I wonder if this is as bad as I think it is. And then they watch it and be like, yep, glad I ain't paid for it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say that was a good movie because doggone it, seriously, those are the luckiest humans ever created. I mean, there's no reason. There was a lot about the last movie I did not like, especially the amount of screen time the Dinobots got. But yeah, there was a lot wrong with that movie. But
So
I would,
let's throw this out there since we walking down memory lane. Like, what cartoon from the 70s, 80s do you think would make a good reboot right now, both on television and possibly with a live action movie? And I'm gonna start it off, and I'm gonna say Silverhawks. I think Silverhawks should definitely get redone.
If they wasn't going to successfully do Thundercats, they're not doing Silverhawks.
I know Silverhawks is not as well known,
Oh
not
no,
as
no,
well
don't
known
don't
cartoon,
don't
but the joint is thorough. And you
don't
got that
misunderstand what I'm
technology
saying.
right now. That
Don't
joint be
misunderstand what I'm saying. I love Silverhawks. I had that ringtone for a minute. Silverhawks. I still have that. So I mean, listen, I loved Silverhawks. Every Sunday I used to watch that joint. I'm just saying, if they fail with Thundercats, because it's in that same lump of shows where I just don't. Silverhawks, I think, probably would have more of a possibility to have a stronger following than Thundercats. Thundercats was a very good reboot and it didn't get any airtime,
that
which
joint
is
yeah,
was a
unfortunate.
fantastic reboot. Like that joint was.
But I think if that couldn't fail, well, relatively speaking, fail. We're talking about in context of what they believe fail is. Then I don't see them doing. I don't see them doing it.
And the thing is, like, I talk to people in the industry, and they're like, the action cartoons is just not doing well with kids right now, and that's really what's hurting it. Like, the action cartoons is doing well with 20 somethings and 30 somethings like us who still love it. But like now, it's like the comedy based cartoons, the silly stuff is what's
But I think that, man, maybe they
popular.
should just focus on us for a little bit. We'd watch it.
But that's why it like DC Entertainment. That's why DC Entertainment their straight to DVD animated features is so fire because it is targeted to us. It's not
They
targeted to
should
kids.
continue to target us. Make the shows at 9 p.m. on Saturday or something to that effect.
But that
And
brings back this other joint, and I was thinking about it. And this is from like the early '90s. Spawn. HBO need to get back into the Actually, HBO and MTV both need to get back into the animation game. Cause Spawn on HBO, that joint was so fire that it pretty much set the standard of like what a primetime cartoon animation should look like. And then if you remember MTV, they had Spider-Man for a while. They had the Max um, for a minute, and they had this other joint that I can't think of.
you talking about MTV oddities.
Oddities, yeah. Like MTV has some hot animation.
So, but see what you're saying though. Targeted towards older people. Even back then, MTV oddities back then that was not kid show.
I
It
mean,
was targeted.
they had Eon Flux. They
It
had a
was
couple of
targeted for
joints.
people our age, even back then, and I think that's what they have to do again. Like with Spawn, unless you were one of those parents who was just like, look, it's okay. You wasn't just gonna watch Spawn. I had to fight my wife to let me and my son watch Spawn. After she saw the first joint where dude was reliving Wanda, and she said, "Whoa!" And I said, "You should have saw what was going down." HBO, son, HBO at night, and yet it was one of the most popular animation shows. Period. Listen, I watched Spawn again this weekend. See all 1, 2, and 3 seasons, and you could see the animation obviously needs to be updated. But even with the animation being, because it was ahead of its time
Oh,
by
way
like
ahead
a
of his time.
thousand years. Normally when I have my son watch something that's old, he'll get into the content, but he's always whining. Oh my god, why is this moving so slow? It just looks so corny. Oh my god, it's corny looking. His eyes was glued when we watched Spawn. He didn't say a word. It just sat there, and then when the first season was over, I was like, all right, so that's. He's like, why are you stopping? Let's watch that. Let's watch the next one, and then we watched the next one, and so he was glued to the screen. And the story was good. It was fun, and the way they did it, Spawn was like that. Spawn was way past ahead of his time, and I think that will work. But again, it was if they stick to the script, stop thinking everything is just for the kids. You know what I mean? If they targeted it for us too, made a conscious effort, saying, "Listen, this is just for them. It ain't for the little ones." And if they watch it, great. But this is for us. That's what they did back then, and these joints was widely popular. We did this before when we did a piece before. Some of the highest rated cartoons slash toy sales were from R-rated movies. RoboCop, Toxic Avenger. Just saying. So it can happen. If you want to make some money, it's not a waste of money targeting us with these good shows. We'll watch it. We've already proven that we are about good shows. That's what you just gotta do. Stop thinking everything needs to go on Cartoon Network.
Quite true.
Even if it do go on Cartoon Network got Toonami, and then they got the adult joints that they start playing. I think it's like after 9, after 11. I can't remember which one.
But those should be the slots.
With the anime, like it's Cartoon Network is the spot, but you got other networks that do animation. Like you got FX. Like FX did they do Archer, which I love. Like that joint is just purely for adults, and then. You got Fox. There's no stranger to animation, so it's a lot of places where you can plug in animated content, and then you got like the straight to what do you call it? The streaming. So you got different streaming channels that you can use. I mean, CWC just proved it with Vixen that I just finished watching all of them. Left me like starving for more. So like, come on, can we? Let's go. Let's get that popping. I was just looking at the chat real quick, and Bison, Peace to Bison, brought up Star Blazers. He was like, he'd like to see Star Blazers come back. And I think he also mentioned an animated version of a Star Trek series, which I think would be pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, that might work pretty well too. I'm hoping that they bring back. There've been some talks about bringing back Young Justice as well. So. I mean, we could
coming back.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Coming back is they trying to work out the deal on that one right now to bring it back, and got a couple of choices as far as like on, but DC Entertainment is definitely bringing it back, and they're taking their time to find a good home for it because they want it to stay on.
You know, it would be hot if they did an anime version. And a complete adult version of Spy versus Spy, and put that back on TV. That'd be beast. That'll just be beast. That would show that.
I don't know if you're kidding or not.
I'm not dead serious. Spy versus Spy. Let the carnage begin, baby. Like they could do something like MTV. I'm just taking it around my brain. They could do something like MTV Oddity type joint, where they just it's both a parody and just crazy. Because I watched the Oddities. I watched damn near all of them solely because of the content. It was not something that you would see on Saturday morning, and yet I wanted to watch it. So it was clearly popular because they just kept coming.
Mm-hmm.
It came out like you said. There was Eon Flux, the Max. What was the one with the alien in the head? I can't remember the name. What was the title of that show?
I can't do it. I cannot remember these.
But you know, I remember what I'm saying.
Exactly what you're talking about.
Do with the alien in his head, and I mean that was they were great to watch, but it was like it wasn't. I don't think it was geared towards us. We just gravitated towards it because we was watching it. And so,
I mean, speaking of good content, though, we had some pretty good stuff dropped this week as far as premieres. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season premiere Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Feeling that. Obviously, Phayce is not feeling it based on the content, based on the look in his eyes. What are we on? Episode 2 of the first season of the new season of Gotham: Rise of the Villains. It's not a bad look right there. Big Papa Rob, what else we got happening this past week in the world of TV?
Oh, I haven't been on TV. I got a new graphics card. So I'm sorry. I have no earthly idea what's been on TV. I got a new graphics card. I've been like testing everything on Ultra. I'm sorry. I've been on the road too.
But
So
see, that I think that goes back to the point. Nothing is outright. These shows are good. Not like Gotham. I've been defending Gotham, and I put a few of my friends onto it. There's nothing out right now, and I'm going to watch Agents of Shield. The wow factor is gone. I just simply enjoy the show simply because it's there. If they were to say we're taking it off air right now, I'd be like,
This
you know what I mean?
opener was pretty fun though. Like I actually enjoyed that.
Good, but we don't have that show that you would seriously run red lights for. That show doesn't exist right now. That's what I mean. Like, you know, what's this show that you would risk being locked up for because you're not trying to miss it?
Dude, none of them. Like, I don't care what you have on TV. Like, I'm not risking my freedom for anything.
But see, that's what I'm saying. There were certain shows that did that. Like, I had to watch the Boondocks. I mean, this is before TV. See, it's hard to say this now. It's hard to say this now.
I ain't going to jail for Aaron Magruder.
Yeah, I would though. But it's hard to say that now because you got TiVo.
You trying to meet the booty warrior person, huh?
Nah, it's hard to say that now because you got TiVo. But I grew up in a time where there was no TiVo, so there were shows we had to watch. Like it was like must see TV, like the Cosby Show. We all sat down and just shut it all down to watch the Cosby Show. Ain't nothing out right now that I'm gonna shut everything down to watch. It's just not.
But you just basically shot holes in your own argument. Like there's no shows like that now because you can DVR and TiVo everything. Like so.
But see, hold up.
Rush to see anything anymore.
But just because I could TiVo it, don't mean we shut stuff down to watch. There's one thing I don't want, especially in a time with social media. No one can keep their damn mouth shut. So I don't want to wait until Wednesday to see something that come on Sunday. I don't want to. Because I could TiVo football games. You obviously watching football games on TiVo. That's not a good look. Just because you could do it. I mean,
you can't compare a TV show to a sporting event.
But you can. I'm just saying. You know, TiVo is there. I can always watch it later. Logically speaking, if it can happen, I ain't going to do it. But you can. There's certain TV shows that I could TiVo later. But even though I TiVo it, we all sit down and watch. Like. When Walking Dead first popped off, whether I watched it Sunday night or we watched it the next Monday, we all sit down and make it a thing. The whole fam, we watching it. We cutting out time to hurry up and watch it. Even though you could TiVo it, I'm not trying to TiVo it. That's what I mean by strong shows. Where just because it's on your TiVo don't mean you're trying to wait. When The Wire first came out, I wasn't waiting until next Sunday to watch it. Or next Wednesday to watch. I was watching it right then and there. Yeah, There's certain things
The Wire and The Sopranos was two shows. It was must see TV.
But that's my point. I use that as a joke with the jail. But let's be real. There were certain shows you're not trying to TiVo, even though you got the technology to do it. You're not doing it. You trying to watch it right now. You can't wait. You've been waiting all week for it to come out, and now that it's out, why would you wait another week to watch it? You're not doing all of that. You're gonna watch it as soon as it hits. Then there's those shows that you could TiVo because I don't really care. I watch them because they all right. You know, it'll be like, oh, that was cool. Okay.
So how do you feel about The Strain?
Nothing from King Phayce. I'm gonna tell you, I watched The Strain and I was really into it.
I think The Strain is awesome.
I watched it. I watched the season. Let's see. I watched how much of the Strain did I watch? I watched up until they were still in the research facility. I never saw them actually leave the research facility. They were still in the basement when I stopped watching. But I actually, and I'm not, and you guys know, I'm really not big on the kind of horror piece. But I actually liked the way that was going.
Yeah. Actually, no, let me not shoot on Strain. Strain was good. Strain is good. I like it. But I mean, again. When I understand where I'm coming from. I don't hate these shows. I mean, there's certain shows I don't like, but I mean, like, you know, there's certain shows like with Z Nation. I like Z Nation. Z Nation is pretty good. It's a good show to me. But it's like it hasn't made it to that level of I have to watch it as soon as it come out level. it's not there yet. You know, maybe it's because the novelty is worn off, or maybe it's because I've just been too busy. I don't think that's what it is. Or like when Penny Dreadful first came out, I watched Penny Dreadful live. Sometimes I would watch it during the show while we were having. Oh, did I say that? Did I say that? Okay, listen. But see, hold on, I'm different. Y'all can't do that if y'all supposed to be listening to our show. Anybody's watching, y'all can't do what I do. One of my superpowers is multitasking, so I can do that because I actually have a registered licensed superpower of multitasking. So I'm a little bit different, but you know, that was one of my shows. That's one of my shows where I was like, oh, I gotta watch that. Like now, you know, there aren't that many right now.
And I'm gonna tell you, folks, he's not embellishing. He really is an incredible multitasker. I can only hope to be the level of multitasker that cat is. I've seen him being fully involved in the conversation and listen to an ebook at the same time. I wish I could do that.
Yeah, see.
I've also seen him engage in a conversation, fall asleep in 10 seconds.
And jump right back to the conversation.
Superpower.
Superpower. So.
Oh my goodness, so very true. I want to take a moment and acknowledge our very active chat room. One of the benefits of doing the show on YouTube like this is that folks get to interact with us. I wanted to just take a brief moment to acknowledge some folks in the chat room. Good brother Clement Lewis Jr. We've got a person who's talking about news and other stuff. I want him to just sit back and relax and enjoy the show. And I'm not going
to supposed to be like
he's supposed to be recovering.
And Walter Reed, but
yeah. So
hell no. He better not be on there. He better not be. Oh no.
Yeah. Knowing him, look, that's what we get for surrounding him with, with recovery products. It's like,
you know what, and it made it so bad. Yeah, I was feeling bad because Sith Cricket did a number on him, so mad I was feeling bad. Like, oh god, like he was supposed to do something this week.
How do you think I feel? I had to go fight the militia to get his ass.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there like, oh man, he really feeling some kind of way. I can't talk right now. Recovering. God, help me. So I'm like, oh man, and they put you up now. Oh man, this dude.
No, he's not up. He's still laid up. I'm sure he's like talking into his Apple Watch. He probably has one on both wrists right now as he tries to recover. I also want to mention Bison for Life, who's hanging with us in the chat as well. He's Armchair just jumped in finally. Armchair was having some problems getting hooked up with iOS. And yes, Armchair, you are working. Welcome to the chat room. She and I were communicating on Twitter. Also, we've been active a little bit on Twitter as well with Black Nerdy. So I want to thank everyone for joining in the conversation. We're going to keep this thing rolling. I'm not even going to bother to read any of the rest of my news because none of it is interesting. But I had a question. I had a question for King Phayce, and actually for you, both of you guys. I was having a debate earlier today with someone, and this is right up our geeky alley. We were talking about who was smarter, unmodified smarter in the comic universe, and we were going at it. We say, okay, Bruce Wayne's pretty darn smart, but then there's Tony Stark smart. But then we both were thinking about it. We were like, wait a minute, what about Lex Luthor? We were like, whoa, he's like biology, chemistry. It was like, man. So I'm gonna throw that out there to you guys. Obviously, I'm not the comic book person. I'm just reading. I've read all of 7 different series. So I'm gonna start with you, King Phayce. Who is the smartest non-modified human in the comic book industry, comic book universe?
That's a loaded one because there's most of them aren't even unmodded in many ways if you read throughout the time, but. This is a different thing. I mean, because you got. It's funny because I had something like this conversation, but not that deep. Tony Stark and Bruce Wayne are 2 different types of smart. They tried in DC world. Bruce Wayne is something like Iron Man, but you'll never convince me that he's Tony Stark smart because he has the same kind of access to the kind of same technology, if you will.
Same kind of money.
And
also with Bruce Wayne, like. Bruce didn't develop a lot of his tech. Like Lucius Fox did a lot of his tech.
Yeah, he has a
Right.
whole company behind it. Now
Yeah,
he's smart
he's
on
a detective.
he's a detective, so he's smart like that. But Tony Stark is I could figure out how to harness the power of the sun and put it into a tiny capsule type smart, you know. But this we get caught up in the heroes being some of the smart ones, but the reality is in both universes, arguably the smartest people are not the heroes. And I go to DC. You got Lex Luthor, who's supposed to be one of the smartest people, just bring it in general,
12
and
level
then
intellect.
in Marvel, it's Doctor Doom. Because outside of Mr. Fantastic, Doom is that dude, and in certain aspects, Doom is smarter. Well, I don't want to say that.
I
Doom
mean,
is,
nah, Doom and Mr. Fantastic are on par. Like it
but
depends
see,
on
there's a
like what day
if
of the
you read
week
the
you catch him
comics,
on.
if you read the comics, he'll say, damn, Mr. Fantastic is singular in his focus, and any one thing he's focusing on, he could probably figure that thing out. Doctor Doom could multitask. Doctor Doom could be focusing on several different things all at once. That's the difference. And while
But see,
they
the
are
thing that throws
empowered,
Doom off is like Doom's arrogance. So like that's what trips him up.
it
Like Doom
does,
trips himself up. Like the
but
same way. So Doom has that Achilles, and Mr. Fantastic, his Achilles is that he gets very like he get tunnel vision. Either way, like I feel like those two things they balance out. Like I would put them here. Like that's why I said it. Like it depends on what day of the week you catch them on to see who's gonna get the edge.
that's my point. When you're talking about smartest people, you can arguably say Doctor Doom, and with Lex Luthor being on the opposite end of the spectrum, they're on the same they're in the same place in the Marvel. It's not like Lex Luthor is the only smart person in DC Comics. It's just he's the guy that's that go to, and they do that mostly to balance out the whole concept of Superman, brains versus brawn, that kind of thing. And so that's probably why they created Lex Luthor the way they did. Whereas in Doom, they didn't have to do that. It's just that's just how it played out over time. The antithesis to uh, my man, Mr. Fantastic. Then you got Doctor Doom on the other end. But like I said,
And you forgetting about the Illuminati too.
again, is the Illuminati is
It's a
really
council though.
it's a
It's
council.
what
It's not
Fantastic,
everybody
Mr.
there isn't the
Fantastic.
smartest people on the planet. Well, what they
They
did
are the
was,
smartest dudes in the
but
in the
they
room.
it's but see at the same time they only count the heroes. That's my point. Those are some of the smartest people, but some in each universe there are villains that could probably surpass them. Doom is not on the council. Doom is clearly one of the smartest people on the planet. Smarter than even 90, most of the people. The only person on the council that are probably smarter than them is Mr. Fantastic. And he's not on this so-called council. So you gotta take that with a grain of salt. Don't get me wrong. The people, and it depends on what version of the Illuminati you're talking about, because there's at least three. And Black Bolt is not considered the smartest person on any universe.
Nah.
He's just, and neither is Namor, but they're both on the council. So,
Neither is Doctor Strange for that matter.
but he's the smartest magic user. But again, it's that the same thing. So he's on the council. It's not so much brain power that puts you on the council, just within your realm of speciality. That's what the Illuminati is. But as far as straight brain trust, which there is a version of the Illuminati that is solely brain trust, then
I
you
mean,
got
but
some of the
even
smarter.
like talk about like smart people, you got to look at cats like Bruce Banner. You want to
Well,
know
he's on a version of the Illuminati.
I'm just talking about characters in general. If you're gonna talk about like brain power, and I'm just going through my mental Rolodex to see who would qualify, and then you got cats like Professor X, who's also on the Illuminati.
He's cheating. He's augmented, so that doesn't count.
Yep, he's augmented.
Uh,
Doesn't count.
He can read. He doesn't count. But Bruce Banner is one of those dudes. I mean, and hell, they had Mr. Fantastic say once he's probably the smartest person on the planet Earth. He just most of his mental faculty is devoted on keeping a
being a
Hulk in check.
hawk.
So you know, but I guess I don't know if your original argument was Tony Stark versus Bruce Wayne, or did it just encompass all comic book characters? But I don't think I've been saying this for a long time. While they are similar, they're not the same. They're not the they don't represent each other in each universe. Iron Man is a totally different fish than Batman. Like you said, Batman doesn't necessarily design his own tech. Iron Man designed virtually all his own tech. He works with the other guy. Like, he works a lot with Mr. Fantastic. He works a lot with Dr. Pym, who are considered his peers within as far as how smart they are. But he does his own thing, clearly. Getting advice from a peer and having a whole a group of people design your stuff, that's two different things. And I think Batman is not, he's not a superhero because he has access to this technology and he still fights in stockings. That makes you stupid. So that's to me. If I'm on a fight against people who fight Superman, I'm wearing armor, not stockings. That's just me. But it's a different thing, and there's more. Like I said, I think they keep Batman to be more detective comics, and Iron Man to be technical, which kind of keeps them separate. That's the one thing that keeps them separate.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, it wasn't a debate. It was just just a random conversation that came up. Was watching something, and we were like, well, who's the smartest? So yeah, that's good. And actually, I forgot about Pym. I didn't even bring him into the conversation. So that's cool. Let's go around the round table. We got just a little time left. The only thing that I got, I'm gonna throw mine out there because it's real quick. Is I just did my Windows 10 upgrade to my main PC. I kind of tweeted out the process today. It went very well. The only problem was I ran into the sound drivers. That the sound drivers didn't come through, so I just had to go to the site and load my sound drivers. But so far, looks like they fixed the problem that I had with connectivity when I did my second device, and it went very, very well. No problems, no issues so far. Some really cool features because I dual screen was that I got taskbars on both screens, so I can almost use them independently instead of just being an extension. I've actually got a taskbar on both sides, which I thought was a really cool feature. And the screen, the backgrounds change independently, so it's almost like you're running two systems, which I thought was really cool. I didn't see that with any of my other systems, they were all a single screen. So that's all I got for today. King Phayce, you got anything for the round table today?
Yes, I do.
What you got? What you got, homie?
It's more of a public service announcement.
Oh, we love your public service announcements because they serve the public. And
I think it kind of goes to everyone should be able to relate, and I think this goes to what we have to do as far as people of our communities and people of our planet, because all human beings should have to adhere to these rules. But I think we have an epidemic, and I think it falls to us to ensure that we get it fixed before the end of the world, okay? And that's learning how to read. Now, I know what you're thinking. What you talking about, Phayce? People know how to read.
What you talking about, Phayce?
I hear what you're saying. But I think, and what I saw in the last week, I have proof that I was about to cuss just now. People don't know how to read. Okay, I'm gonna give you some examples. Okay, so let me lay it out for you real quick. I don't want to take all day, but it might take all day, so just bear with me. So I'm out there, doing what I do. I'm having fun. What happened is I was part of a photo shoot. I'm not making this up. I was a part of a photo shoot, and I'm out there devoting all my time and energies, helping the world be a better place, because there's nothing better than more photos of me laying around. And so we're out there all day, and we were having a good time, and it was time to come home, and I realized, oh my God, I don't have any Capri Suns at the house. I need to go pick up some Capri Suns. So I stopped at my local supermarket. Now, I did this twice. Okay? I did it twice. I did it once at Wegmans and once at Walmart. So there's really no excuse. Okay? Actually, 3 times, because I went to Safeway. Okay? So I'm out there and I'm thinking, okay, all I want is a box of Capri Suns. So I go and I say, hey, I'm going to buy my Capri Suns because I've been out there doing this photo shoot all day, and I just want to go get my Capri Suns and go home and hang out, right? Because, no one else was at the house because everybody else was out there supporting me, doing my thing. So I stop at the store and I say, I don't even need a cart because I just want my Capri Suns. And then I ended up getting me some Gushers, but that's still only, let's count them. I went and got some Gushers. I went and got some Capri Suns. and I bought a thing of deodorant because I'm always got to be fresh. And for those who understand, I buy my deodorant before it runs out, so I don't ever have that oh my god moment. So I'm sitting there, and that's 3 items. I have 3 items in my hand. I'm holding them. Now in my brain, I'm thinking, well, it's not rush hour. I'm going to go in the sign. There's a big giant sign. Now this is where the first part, it needs you to read. You have to be able to read because it says 15 items or less get into this line. Right? It says 15 items or less get into this line. Now I'm thinking to myself, okay, first I know how to count because I have deodorant, Gushers, Capri Suns. That's 3 items. So I'm thinking clearly that line is for me because I know how to read. So I go and I stand in line. Here are 5 people in that line in front of me. The first person in the line was an old man. Now, see, here's where we have a disconnect. Actually, within the 3 stores, they varied in age and sex. So there was no real excuse. All right. I looked in the man's cart. There was at least, we're just going to go on a limb. I lost count at 25 because I thought it didn't make no sense after that. So there's 25 items in that man's cart. Now, let me tell you where we have a problem. Clearly, my man didn't know how to read because it says 15 items or less, and they got into that line with over 20 items apiece, right? He failed because he doesn't know how to read. Not only did he fail, but the person checking him out failed because she don't even know how to read her own line because it says 15 items or less. What happens is if you got more than 15 items, I need to send you to the next one. But instead she goes, "Hi, how you doing? I'm going to check you out." Da-da-da-da-da-da. So now we sitting in line for hours trying to check people out because each person had over 20 items, and I was the only one who knew how to read and said 15 items or less. So now instead of going home and hanging out, I had to spend an hour waiting for some Capri Suns because you didn't know how to read. Now, you might say to yourself, Phayce, "Oh man, that's crazy." But that don't mean everybody don't know how to read. I hear what you're saying, but it's indicative to the problem because the second problem happened at my job, where there's supposed to be nothing but respectable and bright people, right? I go there in the morning, I'm tired because I get up early. So I'm not really focused too much. I'm just walking, doing my Deadpool thing. Well, not Deadpool, my Walking Dead thing until I get some coffee. So I go upstairs to get some coffee. Now, I'm walking through the door. Now, the door in big yellow letters says entrance only. And on the other side, it says exit only for emergency. Now, I don't know this because I know how to read, right? I walk towards the door. I got my head down. I'm finna walk in because clearly this is an entrance only. Got my head down. I get to the door and the door comes flying open. Bam! And the guy looks at me, goes, "Oh, so sorry," and walks away because he decided to come through the exit the entrance that says exit only for emergency. So my first thought was, "Oh my God, it's a fire. We need to get out of here." And it's like, we must need to get out of here. We have to go. We have to get out the building. And he's looking at me like, "Why is it?" Because clearly you just made the wrong exit because it says emergency, so something must be going down. He says, "Oh no, I just just use no, that's not what's happening." And it took me a minute to rein in because I almost started cussing down at the federal building because it was like, clearly you must not be able to read if you went through this exit. And I say all that to say I almost got my face knocked off. I had to stand in line for an extra hour because my people don't know how to read. That must be the problem. And I think what we have to do is further educate our friends and family members who don't know how to read to make sure they know how to read so we don't have problems like we have this week. That's too many problems we having in one week, all because people just can't read certain signs. Okay? Or that asinine person who comes up to the bus talking about something, "Does this bus go to Southeast?" When it clearly says we ain't going to Southeast. But you want to hold up my day because you want to ask questions. See, that's part of not being able to read. I say all this to say we need to do better. That's all.
You done?
Just read.
Thank you, King Phayce. And
Just read the damn signs.
Ladies and gentlemen, please support early childhood education. Please support your local library. Please support your local teachers.
Donate money to a literacy program somewhere.
But get a friend a library card. We know that illiteracy is still a problem in our culture. And,
that was my rant for the week.
And thank you, King Phayce. We appreciate it. Tell people, please read, and then that 15 hours or less, 15 items or less issue is an epidemic. So I understand.
It's an epidemic.
Yeah. And to the Potbelly Samurai, what do you have for the good of the order this week, sir?
I don't know, man. I think Phayce might have ate up everybody's screen time.
Dude, yeah. I mean, yeah, we're at the mark. We're definitely at the mark, but I will definitely, if there's something that you want to share,
you don't got something to say. I got a whole lot more.
How about you just shush right now?
No,
like, do that.
I don't respond to but I can do a lot more. We can do this all night.
So I'm gonna read Bison.
What I was gonna say, I was gonna do my Volkswagen TDI, rant, but I'll say,
dude, don't start.
Volkswagen gonna get me a new car. They just don't know it yet.
Little do they know. Interesting. That was one of the articles that I had. Obviously, I'm a big Volkswagen fan. I'm not an owner, but I'm an owner. If I had the money, I'd be an owner. You're right, and I read an article today that some executives are worried that this whole fiasco over the emissions could bankrupt the company. They've set aside. Just some people said that. I haven't seen anybody from Volkswagen directly say it. Obviously, they probably wouldn't, but yeah, this is a really big deal over just the emissions. It's huge.
It's a mean fraud because you got people like myself and others, because I'm not the only TDI owner on the podcast, that bought the cars for two reasons. One, because of the fuel economy, and two, because of the performance. Like, one of the reasons why I don't think any of us got like Priuses is because they might get great fuel economy, but you kind of give up your manhood when you get one, because they ugly, and two, they have like zero performance. But with the TDIs, it's like, you get a cool car, and you get the fuel economy. You get to be green and eco-friendly, and you still get to have fun. Like, so really the whole thing is a lie, because at the end of the day, when they pull a fix, you're going to lose something. Like, so even if they fix the emissions problem, you're going to lose all your performance. So you're basically going to be riding around a big-ass, slow-ass box. Or, they're not going to be able to fix it, and you're not going to be able to get the fuel economy. And then, you polluting like crazy, which none of us want to do, because we all eco-friendly, and we trying our best to reduce our carbon footprint. So either way, we going to lose out on something. So what I'm saying is, yeah, they about to get a car.
I saw the first article, and then I saw a quick news report, and they didn't get specific. So are they saying, is it that we don't have eco-friendly cars? Because I know we get the fuel performance.
No, we don't have eco-friendly cars because the technology was supposed to be a clean diesel. So you were supposed to be able to have the performance, you're supposed to be able to have the fuel economy, and you're supposed to have the low emissions. So what's happening right now is the cars is polluting 10 to 40 times more than they're supposed to, because the software has been tricking the system. So basically, they don't do real-time emissions tests. They do it in a controlled laboratory environment. So anytime the computer know that it's doing the test, it changes up the software and it drops the emissions. As soon as the test is over, it go back to polluting like crazy. So in order to fix it so that the cars don't actually pollute, it's going to affect performance. So like, you're going to lose something. Like, they can't. One of the reasons why they pulled the cheap move is because they couldn't give you fuel economy, low emissions, and performance all at the same time. So they cheated.
Yeah.
You know what? First they come at us with these gluten-free candy bars that's not supposed to make you fat. Now they do this. I think somebody needs to get shut down. Somebody needs to get shut down, because it's getting ridiculous with this false advertisement.
But the crazy thing about it, though, is the what's the names, like they tested, and this didn't come about as a result of a government test. This was a nonprofit that did the test, and they did the real time test, and they found that the BMW diesels actually perform the way they're supposed to perform in real time testings. So I mean, they have technology that works the way it's supposed to. Volkswagen took the shortcut, but
To
even with
give
the
themselves a
fix,
better rating.
absolutely. Like when they do the fix, it's going to kill performance and it's going to kill MPG. Like they're not going to be able to fix this without taking this back to the drawing
I
board.
think I
Hence
would have.
why I say I'm getting a new car and Volkswagen's paying for it. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah, because that's crazy. Because one of the things that I've been bragging about is the performance on the road. I mean, the road performance is real. I mean, on one tank of gas, I got down to Florida from here. So clearly, that's saving money in my pockets, and I think a lot of people care about that. But the whole concept of me getting the car was because it was not supposed to be one of those air killers. On top of, I want to keep money in my pocket. Let's just be real. I'm selfish. I want money staying in my pocket as much as possible. And so, whenever you tell me I could go and put the gas in my car that'll keep that from happening, that's always going to be a good look. But that's one of the things I looked at. So that's clearly a big, big
Like
lie.
for me, it was like a win-win-win across the board because I try to be as eco-friendly as possible. We retrofitted. Oh, y'all been in my house? Like we retrofitted the house. We put in new electrical. We put in tankless water heaters. We new windows. Like the whole thing. Like our utility bills is like super low as a result of all of the energy efficient and eco-friendly upgrades we did to the house. So having the car to be able to have performance, have low emissions, and have good fuel economy, I was like, dang, not a win. Um, but like now, all of that's out the window, and I don't know, B. Like as soon as they figure out what they want to do, I'm be online, be like, yo, take this back. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I want.
I want the full value difference of like what I owe versus what I paid. I want that now.
Yeah, I wanted to read a couple of things that our local fact checker posts some interesting data about, or some information about, kind of what this has cost, and basically stated that the cost estimate now is that before fines, class action, etc., is going to be higher than what they made the last several quarters, to something to that extent. The rumored plan right now is that they're going to do a retrofit on all current owners, going to cost about $2,000 or so per 11 million cars impacted. The real effects, we're looking at approximately 90 times more nitrogen than they previously reported. And just to kind of what you said, Potbelly, the retrofit is likely to hurt performance and fuel efficiency. So it's gonna be. Oh, and he also mentioned that there's gonna be a website set up for customers to track the plan. So this is definitely going to be interesting. This is definitely going to
Take
hurt
the
the
car
company.
back. I don't want it. Like
Yeah, especially if it's going to affect the performance, because that's not what you bought. Because I know when I
absolutely
buy
not.
for performance.
Yeah, I'm about to take my dough and head over to BMW and probably get that 330 diesel.
hmm I think a lot of people are probably going to make very, very similar um, choices. So that's so true. All right, guys, we can get out of here. Decent time tonight. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. I really want to thank everybody in the chat. I mentioned them earlier, but I'm going to just run them down again. Clement Lewis, I think he's I don't want to say he's from the wrong show. I think I know exactly what show he's from, but I'm gonna go back and double check. Also, I want to thank. Oh, gee, did I really just do that? Yeah, I did. Also, Bison for Life. We had Mr. Mystery Guest Fact Checker, who is recovering. We want him to continue to recover, get better. Glad that we were able to get him out. Definitely Bison for Life, Armchair. Thanks so much, Armchair Commentary was hanging with us, and I'm sure there are a ton of other people. And I want to thank the people who are going to watch this during the week. Well, we really value your viewership. Please make sure. Oh, is that Rhodey? Is that?
Yes, I found him. War Machine toy.
Ooh, hello, Mr. War
Damn.
Machine Toy.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So
cool. And I want to thank everyone who's going to watch. Make sure that you like us. Make sure that you share us. You can also let us know what content that you like us to, fancy. I was just reading the comments from Potbelly in the chat. That's a great thing. You guys, you really, when you watch the show live, you get to chat. But make sure that if there are things that you want us to cover, obviously we cover everything, tech, the comics, movies, television. We cover a wide spectrum, and we can cover the things that you want. Just let us know. You can hit us up. You can go to the website, www.theblackgeeks.com. We've got links there. You get all our different content. Definitely follow us on Twitter at The Black Geeks. You can check us out on Facebook at The Black Geeks, and we're also on SoundCloud. We haven't updated to files in a little while, but I'm sure we'll be getting to that. And then we're on Tumblr as well, Google Plus, just all over the place. So but it also gives you different avenues to contact us, let us know what you want to see. So thank you, all of you all. Well then, is this podcast over? Yes, Adam, by default. Thank you for just jumping on. But see, this podcast is over, but the great thing is you can go back and watch it on YouTube in just a minute.
Somebody just came on and they wanted to see something?
No. Adam, by default, just jumped on in the chat room and said, well then, is this podcast over? And
I'm
like,
hold up. You want to see something?
No. We don't want to see anything. Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is over.
It's kind of hot.
This podcast is definitely over, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining the Black Geeks. I'm Pop.
I got some fun.
Okay, thank you very much. I will catch you guys next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Peace and love.